think, James, when I was a child, I always helped my mom in the kitchen, not doing really much. But there was one situation I remember. I was picking the skin on a roasted chicken when it came out of the oven. And that is a long-lasting memory. And then for whatever reason, I enjoyed eating that crispy skin. And then I asked my mom, if you could tell me a bit more about it. And I started doing basic salad sauces and that kind of thing. I think that was probably the beginning. Yeah, Izakaya is basically a Japanese pub. The difference between an Izakaya and a British, German or French pub is that it's more food-driven than our pubs. But the fundamentals, having a good atmosphere and having fun, old and young, this is the same. So the Izakaya is what I wanted to achieve with Zuma, but more in a sophisticated environment. So meaning designed restaurant, I like design. Also the service needs to be polished, and obviously the food needs to be the best produced. But the fundamentals of being an Izakaya, having fun when you go dining with your friends, that was the most important point which I would like to achieve, wanted to achieve with the restaurant, and I think it worked quite well. Most probably the reason is a selfish reason that I opened Oblix. It's a lot of food which I missed, like the basic things, steak tartare and roast chicken and roast duck and all that kind of Caesar salad, that kind of thing I miss because my nutrition for the past 12 years is dominantly Japanese food. Yes, it's true because the developer approached me for a second Zuma. He wanted to see a Zuma up there, and Zuma is very, very special to me, and I think there's only one Zuma for London, even though I think another Zuma would be or could be successful, but I think it's not challenging enough, so I wasn't interested. And then it was many years ago, I think five years ago, and then the developer came back 4 months down the road with a beautiful big book about the shard. So at the time I didn't know how it looked like. So when I got the book and I saw this architecture, I got amazed. I got really interested about it. I saw the floor plan of the restaurants, and I got very, very excited. And I was thinking about putting a grill restaurant in there. Obviously I had to check with him if this is okay. So I explained him the concept, and he was absolutely fine with that. And then I was thinking, you have work enough, should you really do it? But then again, the shard dominates the London skyline, and wherever you are, you will see the shard. And if I wouldn't have done it, somebody would have told me, you should have, because whenever I see it, and I thought that also part of it that I did it. I think, 12 years ago when I opened Zuma, we didn't have tablecloth because I wanted to have a very, very relaxed atmosphere. When you go out with your friends, you want to feel good. Obviously, you decide what kind of food you would like to eat. But I wanted to give a very relaxed environment. The atmosphere shouldn't be intimidating to the customer, but the food has to be top-notch and the service has to be top-notch. And that became very successful. It's not only the food. I think the package of everything at Zuma made it what it is. And nowadays, 12 years later, I know that Marcus Waring, Michelin star chefs, they don't put tablecloths on their tables anymore because fundamentally I think you don't need to have tablecloths to have a good time and eat fantastic, delicious food. Most important is the environment, the service, and the food. If you have a tablecloth, it's great, but it gives a certain formality. And sometimes you don't want to have a formal evening. You want to have fun, just simple. Definitely good food, number one, because that's the reason why you're going for a meal. Number two is the service, attentive, not too over-attentive, polished, but not too polished. And the third is the atmosphere. The atmosphere, if it's warm, if it's exciting, if it's sexy, if it's buzzing, I think all these components make a great restaurant. Yeah, we are opening in October, Roca in Aldwych. That would be our fourth Roca. And in November is a very, very big opening. We're opening Zuma in New York. Well, Hong Kong was actually the second Zuma after London, and it was quite a big challenge in a way in our minds, because bringing an Asian concept back to Asia. But again, here we were lucky. The market accepted us. Zuma Hong Kong is very successful. So I'm quite happy about that. Well, I don't really have one signature dish. I have several signature dishes. Yeah, one is the sea bass with yuzu and a bit of truffle oil. That's a very successful dish. We have a seared tuna tataki with braised sake onions and chili radish. The barley miso marinated chicken from the oven. It's a signature dish. Plenty of them. Time, spending time with friends, family, and sharing meals together and enjoying company. I think that's these days luxury number one.